Well, the times, they are a-changin', and for the better, if you ask me. Rachel Maddow's done. I'd imagine her career is over, though she just signed a deal for $25 million. Her ratings are so far down in the gutter, I don't know how she recovers from this. So, lady, well, enjoy the money as it comes. Rachel Maddow's MSNBC rating spiraled down 43%. Yikes. Now we got Van Jones appearing on CNN. And it's funny because even when he's lamenting the demise of their medium, he's still lying about their reach. Van Jones is like, we're only getting 1 to 2 million views, and these kids are getting 14 million streams. And I'm like, my dude, you are not getting 1 to 2 million. Have you checked CNN's ratings? Outside the key demo, it's like 500,000. And in the key demo, it's like 80,000. Now, I'm not going to sit here and disparage older folks, but they're not considered key demographic or the money demo. So younger people tend to spend more money, though I do think things will be a little bit different, largely because young people aren't having children the same way they used to. Historically, the key demo, which is just, it's like 18 to 54, but it's really like 24 to 54, I think, generally speaking. Basically, you're looking at young individuals who need to spend things. Well, a large economic driver for basically all of human history was children. Now that younger people don't have kids, they're, I don't know, it's going to change the market dynamics in an interesting way. Imagine this 50 years ago. You're a young guy and you show up to a job offer and they're going to interview you and they say, we need somebody who can build widgets for the company. And you say, well, I've got another kid on the way and I got to support my wife. So I'm going to need at least $40,000 a year. Of course, 50 years ago, that's a lot of money. And they'd be like, dang, that's a lot of money. I think 50 years ago, you'd probably be getting like 20 to 30 and you'd probably be decently well off. I don't know the exact numbers, but a 6-figure job was nuts. But you're a dude, and you're basically like, look, man, I can't take the job. It's not that I don't want to do it. What ends up happening? Women in the workforce splits the competition and also reduces the likelihood of someone having a family. Now, this same working class guy with a family says, I'll take the job, but I need $30K a year. And they go, I got to be honest, your family's not my concern. This guy over here is single. This lady is single. I can hire both of them for the same rate, have 2 people. And so this changes market dynamics. Now, as we enter the media space, we can rag on people like Rachel Maddow and CNN over their loss of the key demo, but I'm very interested to see what ends up happening in the long run, and I think we should prepare for it. Younger people don't need as much money because they don't have families. They may want more money, but they can be pressured by the business, the employer side of things into saying, well, look, I don't care if you want vacations. Here's what the rate's going to be. It also changes buying patterns. So commercials will be different, and we are going to see something dramatically alter in the media landscape. But as we sit here and we mock Rachel Maddow's failures and CNN, I must inform all of you that the big dogs are coming for this space. Rest assured, they're not going to sit there and go, guess I lose. Comcast, Disney, Fox Corp, they're all going to come after this space. And you know what, man? I look at what we've got going on here. I was talking to Phil about it. It's like we're like an indie label, you know what I mean? Like you can have success, but what happens in the long run? We may be the kings of the castle now, but when Comcast and Disney decide they want to reassert their narrative dominance, how do we combat it? We need to own that institution. Something's got to give. Let's read a little bit of this and we'll talk more about the industry in a second, which I love talking about media industry. The Rachel Maddow Show has lost 43% of its total audience in 2024 since Election Day, averaging only 1.4 million total viewers since Trump won in a landslide. Yeah, but that's like 70 and older. It's the biggest star on the network has done even worse among adults 25 to 54, losing a massive 56% of its audience since the election, averaging only 103,000 viewers from arguably the most important demographic. Yowza! I can already see big shifts happening. And December is kind of a wacky month because nobody wants to work and everyone's taking time off. But guys, I got to be honest. I made a 10-minute video the other day that's got 200,000 views. Respect. Thank you all so much for watching, sharing the video. Rachel Maddow is getting $25 million a year, and she can't even pull anywhere close to that. I mean, it's less than half. Come on. Timcast IRL does it's hard to give the exact average. I think the exact average might be like in the last month, 700,000 or 800,000 views per episode. It varies by month. Over the year, it's probably around 500,000 on YouTube per episode. We have big spikes with special events, but then I think like the raw average on any given day, we do about 350K on YouTube and then 100 on Spotify. And then we have 4 clips per day averaging 88,000. Sometimes a little bit higher, but we just set it at 88,000. In the past couple of months, our ratings have spiked. So it is interesting to see that as they are collapsing, we are expanding. But take a look at this. This video is fantastic. CNN's Van Jones frets fringe has replaced mainstream media. We're on cable news getting 1 to 2 million while they're getting 14 million streams. Indeed, Van, it's been that way for a while.
In the Philly suburbs. And I'm telling you, we are way off. The entire political class is way off.
Yep.
First of all, digital is a new door knocking. You got to understand that.
Yep.
We were laughing our butts off at Donald Trump for suspending his door-knocking campaign and letting Charlie Kirk and Elon do a bunch of stuff online. We said, these guys are idiots. These guys are stupid. Then you start knocking on these doors. You know what people come to the door with? Their phone in their hand. They're in a 24-hour digital surround sound that has nothing to do with CNN, has nothing to do with any stuff that we do. I got a teenage son. I asked him, who are the most influential people in the world today? I'm thinking to myself, he's going to say Barack Obama, Oprah
Why would you
Winfrey,
think
Jay-Z.
that?
He says, Kai Cent,
Sinat.
Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble.
Rumble!
So that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe,
Indeed,
and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there is a...
You're not getting that, dude. You are nowhere near. CNN's ratings are nowhere near that. Look, even Rachel Maddow, the star of MSNBC, is getting 1.4 million across the board. In the key demo, you're getting 100K, and you're talking about your teenage son. He's younger than that. Bro, these guys are so out of touch.
Whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times.
Why do you hate to agree with her? I can't stand these people.
Donald Trump understood that and we didn't. And that's not just Democrats that don't. The entire political class is way off.
Indeed, my friends, with breaking news from Axios. The Daily Wire eyes growth investment in 2025. I'm a big fan. There's a lot of haters. But I got to tell you, while they're not necessarily, like we here at Timcast, we're a bit different than the Wire. I'm just some guy who, through sheer brute force and working 16-hour days, built up this company. And the Daily Wire had investment and they had principal talent, but there's a similarity, and that's why I have tremendous respect for Jeremy Boring and the crew over there. Because I think we see largely the same thing from somewhat a different perspective. The Daily Wire is looking to possibly partner with a larger company or raise a significant round of capital next year to meet its growth ambitions, its co-CEO Jeremy Boring told Axios. The company's commercial success has caught the attention of investors and potential buyers looking to gain a foothold in the younger conservative culture. Semaphore reported Sunday that Fox Corp was eyeing potential acquisitions of conservative podcast companies, including Daily Wire. I am warning you all right now. Those big players are coming for this space. And I got to be honest with you. You know, I view, like I mentioned, like we're like indie label. We're a privateer on the high seas. Sure, we do a good job in our shipping lanes, but the East India Trading Company is going to come in and it's going to flatten us. I don't have good answers. I don't know for sure. But it does feel like Comcast, Disney, Fox, etc. They're not going to sit around and just say, guess I lose. They are going to find ways in. And they are going to shut us out. Now, I don't know exactly what Daily Wire's plan is. There's a quote. It's easy to imagine a strategic partnership with Fox or someone like Fox. That could be mutually beneficial. I think that we complement Fox and don't compete with Fox. Jeremy added, noting that Daily Wire's audience is primarily younger and more coastal urban, which is interesting, saying that they're not looking for a buyer, but they're not closed off to an offer. The concerns that I have, look at this. Daily Wire did $200 million in revenue this year. I like the Daily Wire. Guys, we have to create Disney before Disney shuts us down. And we're not seeing it. And that's why I give the Daily Wire a lot of credit. They're a big company, $200 million in revenue, And, you know, I'm having these conversations with people and it's like, oh, they're doing Pendragon and they did Lady Ballers. People didn't like this movie or that. And I'm like, dude, what is anybody else doing? Everybody's running around on their own like a chicken running across the street. I use that reference because we have neighbors and they have chickens running around and it's awesome, by the way. You're driving down the road and a chicken just bolts across the street. That's great, but we need something bigger. I think the Daily Wire guys have figured that out. Certainly we here at Timcast have been working on these things. It is very difficult. Disney, Comcast, Fox are massive megaliths with massive resources, and they can waste tons of money to figure out how to dominate this space. And all of these individual creators, we're running around on our own. Now, you do have Rumble. And Rumble signed a bunch of deals with creators, creating a sort of digital network, which is good. You do have the Daily Wire. This is why I shot both of them out. I am very much in a similar space, saying like we need to create content, we need to create culture. It's whether it's music or skateboarding. Daily Wire doing comedy movies, Pendragon, or other movies. Rumble signing gaming streamers or otherwise. If we don't redouble our efforts and charge into this, knowing that the big players are going to try and take back this space, we will get crushed. And I'm telling you this right now, man. The Democratic Party, the establishment uniparty elements that are going to cheer on war and lie to your face, they aren't going to just roll over. They're going to say, look at what Van Jones is saying. He's like, man, we were completely out of touch. Man, this year, it's going to get wild. We're going to see massive and insane deals. And this is what's worrying. Because I'll tell you what, man, I would not be surprised to see the corporate players buying up big shows. So again, like I said, when I look in the space, I think Crowder does a great job. I think he's got a bunch of awesome stuff from undercover reporting to comedy bits. He is still just one guy. I like the Daily Wire. They're a handful of talent with strong leadership, and they're trying to take that hill from the corporations. And I like what Rumble is doing. I'm hoping that all of the players in the space, as strong but technically as small as they are going to be able to hold off the big dogs who got here too late. My worry right now is MSNBC, those psychopaths. They've got money. They're paying Rachel Maddow $25 million. Someone at that network is going to say, guys, we can go to YouTube right now and we can look at some of the top podcasters who are crushing Maddow in the ratings. We can offer each of them $5 million and get 5 Rachel Maddows instead. Then what do? Now, all of a sudden, you've got marketing resources we can't compete with. You're going to see Disney come in and say, we're going to spend $100 million promoting this one channel. It's going to be ubiquitous, and it's going to be some crackpot lying leftist feigning authenticity. And, you know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you can't fake authenticity. Dude, they'll figure it out, man. Now is the time. We may be cheering that Donald Trump won, but I'm telling you guys, we need to win this war. And there are many ways you can do it. It's not so simple as to say we have to build the biggest company and shut them all out. We need to make sure they drop their knee and they bow to those who own the space before they can get in. Again, I'll stress, you're going to see these big companies. They're going to say, if we can afford $25 million for Maddow, let's do this. $5 million for some liberal personality on YouTube with 1 million subs who's getting 300,000 views per video, and we're going to dump $20 million in marketing behind them, and now they will get 2 million views an episode, and we will reclaim that space. All of a sudden, the narrative is set, and the uniparty establishment takes back control. There's no easy answers. There's challenges in every direction. And honestly, I've been thinking about this for quite a bit. What do we do and how do we do it? One thing I've said quite a bit over the past several years is like, where are all the wealthy people? They make tons of money in this space. What are they doing with it? And, you know, we here at Timcast, for instance, we built this big skate park. We're doing boonies. And I get people being like, why are you doing skateboarding? Dude, because it's what I know. It's what I can do. And it's an attempt to build around cultural influence. And it's been working. We've sold almost $100,000 worth of skateboards in 3 months. That's massive. We have some of the biggest industry heads hitting us up, cheering us on because money is coming back to the industry that's dying. If we do nothing and the Olympics come up in 4 years, guess who's going to buy that space out from under us? It's going to be faceless corporate uniparty establishment garbage. So what are y'all doing? And I don't mean you, the viewers. I mean, I know what you guys are doing. You already are in this space. But I'm looking at a bunch of these other independent personalities making tons of money. I look at these media hosts. I know what their salaries are. And I'm like, you never hear from them. What do they do? So I'm interested in what we can all do now to maximize and succeed, lest we get steamrolled in a year, 2 or 3. They are not going to sit by and let J.D. Vance or Vivek or whoever else come up in 2028. Trump, it's bad enough he won. And they are not going to stop here. They may be routed. They may have no strong Democratic personalities, but they're not going to just roll over and give up. There may be a realignment. I honestly don't know how the Democratic Party figures this one out, but at least media-wise, I'll tell you what they're going to do. We've already seen prominent liberal personalities. And I hate to say liberal because I'm kind of liberal, but these people are just liars. We've seen them say outright, the Democratic Party needs to give us money. That's what they've been saying. You think it's not going to happen? It is. How do we as independent creators, we make money, and I'll put it this way. Here's what I'm thinking about. We don't do a lot of ad reads on Timcast. It's just programmatic with memberships. And I got to be honest, from a business perspective, it's not smart. For me, I'm satisfied with what I do and I like where I'm at, but I am getting more and more concerned over the past few months, seeing the amount of money that they're willing to pour into this. And I'm like, it is probably a mistake that we have built such a massive platform and we have not maximized ad reads the way the networks do. We have not maximized membership programs. I, as a leader of this company, should not just be content with being a medium-sized podcast. We need to generate 10 times as much money so that we can make sure they don't try and claw back the media space. As Van Jones said, the mainstream has become fringe, the fringe has become mainstream. And what are we doing with that? Well, I can look at what inspires me and what I think needs to be done. So we tried Cast Castle, and it's really, really difficult. I do not have the wherewithal, and I'm the first to admit it, to run a company, be principal talent, and be a dad. It is extremely difficult. I need to take time out to exercise every day. That's mandatory. That's not even about having fun or whatever time for myself. It's about making sure I'm fit and capable and I have the energy. I have to make sure that I'm tracking marketing. I have to make sure that I'm tracking ancillary projects and expansions. Pop Culture Crisis is doing really well, and we've reached our limit. And now I'm looking at this thinking like, where do we go from here? Now, one thing is we've been talking with a lot of ad networks, and I was like, guys, we need to pick up ads and we got to do sponsor reads like everybody else does. Otherwise, we can sit on we can purity spiral into oblivion. I've always kind of been like, I don't like interrupting things with ad reads. They seem kind of corny. But look, the reality is sponsors make the shows work. And I'll tell you guys, there are people who try to be like, Tim's a sellout and he only cares about money. Dude, if I only cared about money, I'd be doing big ad reads on every single show. The money is there. I've just never done it. I've gotten offers from a bunch of networks over and over again. And I keep saying, guys, I get it. You want me to do ad reads? I know that if I do ad reads, we can crank out $10, $20 million. Okay. But now, after Donald Trump wins, I'm thinking, am I going to sit here and lose the grip on what we're doing because I want to be pure, as it were? I don't want to do the ad reads. That's stupid. There are a lot of great companies out there that are willing to support things that we believe in, especially following the Bud Light fiasco. There's opportunity to promote companies that believe in our values. And I think this is the direction that probably we need to go. So I'm worried that, I'm really worried. 2024 comes around and you're going to be surprised to see that Joe Rogan's not the biggest anymore. There's going to be some liberal podcaster who's on $100 million. Look, Travis Kelce got $100 million for his podcast. Call her daddy $100 million. Rogan, 250. Rogan's great. But that money is pouring in and they are going to start signing people because they know this is the space. Right now, we have merit on our side. People like this show because they like me and they think I'm a good talker for whatever reason. So they see it and they click it. But what happens when YouTube stops recommending, starts censoring, and starts removing subscribers, which we know they already do? What happens then when you, the viewer, open up YouTube and you stop seeing my videos? Well, many of you may be diehard fans who watch every single episode, but I tell you this, we know there's a percentage that watch, like the show, but it's just they turn the YouTube on and there it is. And I'll watch tonight. What happens when YouTube cuts a deal with Disney and they say, just start recommending our version of the nightly news. We'll do a better deal with you and you know it's safe. Merit goes so far. So my strategy in the coming years is to make sure we are doing everything we can to maximize in every possible way. And that means there's a couple ad networks that I've been talking to. You have seen that on Timcast IRL, we did a mid-roll ad read. And we're going to see how we figure this one out. I want to make sure that everything we're doing has the maximum potential and that the things that we believe in don't get crushed. How do we do it? We got to make more money, hire the right people, and shut out that industry before they can counter-strike. This election is not the end of the war. It's one battle. And the big media apparatus that's willing to spend $300 million, they're not going away. They're going to find a way to attack this space. We're going to win. I'm not backing down. But when we sit here and we mock Rachel Maddow and we all laugh about it, we're not going to rest on our laurels, my friends. Rachel Maddow may be crushed in the ratings. They may say she's on the way out, nobody wants to watch her. But what they will do is they're going to go to some of these liberal YouTubers who get 1 million views per video, and they're going to say, how much do you want? And as I mentioned, these guys might make a lot of money. Seemingly, they don't know how to sell ads. Don't get me wrong. But they're going to say, let's buy a $25 million marketing package with billboards, with TV spots and digital spots, and make your name ubiquitous. They want the normies to think that's success. We've won that for now. This is the battle moving forward. Trump, Cash, Hegseth, Tulsi, RFK Jr., they can get in and start making those moves. Those of us in media need to make sure we shore up and defend the space. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in a little bit. Smash the like button, share the show. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Become a member at timcast.com to support the work, and we will see you all in the next segment.